Today we are making an irresistible homemade hummus from scratch without using any baking soda. And I'll also share some delicious creative ways to enjoy it beyond dipping. Perfect for parties, meal prep or quick snacks. This is a low effort meal and making hummus from scratch in principle is really simple. You soak the chickpeas, you cook them and then you grind them into a paste along with some tahini and some spices. That's all there is to this recipe. Now the way hummus is made traditionally is very different to the way we have learned it in modern day lives. Chickpeas are soaked for over 24 hours and then it is also boiled for a very long time without the use of any pressure cooker and without using any baking soda. Or the skin is removed and I will explain how that is done and the science behind it a bit later. But no one has that amount of time today and by the time you are done, the party may be over. So how do we do it then? Well, I'm going to share with you now how I have learned over time with my experience. It's not a unique recipe. I'm using the same ingredients. I'm soaking here around 500 grams of dried chickpeas. These are dehydrated chickpeas. They have a long shelf life. Make sure you rinse them at least once and only then soak them in plenty of water for at least 8 to 12 hours or overnight. The water should be easily around 3 to 4 inches above the level of the chickpeas and we are going to use water that's at room temperature. You do not have to add boiling water here. The skin of the chickpea and also many other dried beans, they contain hard to digest fibers and complex sugars which can cause gas, bloating or indigestion in sensitive individuals. After around 12 hours of soaking, the chickpeas should have expanded around 3 times its original size. And before we cook these, we need to discard the water in which the chickpeas were soaked. You're not losing any good stuff here. And then rinse it at least twice or thrice. This helps in getting rid of the smell that chickpeas get after soaking. Now we have to cook these and you can cook them in an open pot which will take around 45 minutes or more, or use a regular pressure cooker like this which will take around 15 minutes, or use an electric pressure cooker and cook it under 25 minutes. I'm going to cook these in an instant pot. Simply add the chickpeas to the pot and add water. Now the level of water should reach at least half an inch above the chickpeas. Close the lid and set the timer to 15 minutes and cook under high pressure. When the 15 minutes are over, the Instapot will take around 10 minutes more to vent out the steam naturally. You can see that the chickpeas are cooked well and the best way to check it is to press it with your fingers and see how easily you can mash it. Now, when it is cooked soft, it can be mashed into a hummus even with a wooden masher like this. The traditional way looks like a seal from a government office. But yes, it works. It gives you a coarse hummus. You can still use it if you don't have a blender. Now, did I use any baking soda while cooking or soaking? No. If you cook long enough, you do not need baking soda. But everyone knows this simple truth. Soak the chickpeas and then boil them to perfection, right? So what is that one thing that we all miss when we make hummus? It's removing the skin. The skin of the chickpeas, like I said before, it contains this oligosaccharides, specifically raffinose family oligosaccharides or RFOS, and humans lack the enzymes to digest these. So they pass it to the large intestine where the gut bacteria ferment them, causing gas and bloating, which is why removing the outer skin of the chickpeas before cooking or before making hummus is an essential step, and they reduce the amount of RFOs as they are concentrated in the skin. So when hummus is made at a commercial scale, then to remove the skin or to break down these complex sugars and to get the chickpeas cooked to very soft texture, baking soda is used. If you're sensitive to baking soda in food, then the method I'm going to show will work for you. There are 2 ways to remove the skin. The first one is before cooking and when the soaking is complete. And I prefer this method. Simply wrap around a handful of chickpeas in a clean kitchen towel and then rub it vigorously, either on a hard surface or on your hand for a few seconds, and the skin should separate easily. Then all you have to do is to pick the skin out. The second method is to remove the skin from the cooked chickpeas. All you have to do here is to gently push the chickpeas between your fingers and the skin will come out easily. This works great, especially when you're using canned chickpeas or chickpeas that are already cooked. In both these methods, the extra time that you would need is around 10 to 15 minutes, and believe me, it's worth it. And you get all of that promise, that creamy, smooth texture of hummus, and it's so delicious without using any baking soda here. Now, you do not have to remove the skin of every single chickpea. Even if you're around halfway mark, it's an achievement. It will make a huge difference. Now, to make a really good hummus, you need an average blender. And because the amount of cooked chickpeas is too much to add at once, at least in the blenders that we use at home, I'm going to make hummus in 2 batches. But the quantity of ingredients that I'm showing on the screen is for the entire batch of hummus. Fill the jar up to halfway mark with the cooked chickpeas. To this, add 1 cup of tahini, which is sesame paste. You can use brown or white sesame tahini. A good tahini will have nothing else in it other than sesame seeds. So if it's mixed with some other oil, extra oil on top of it, then that's not the real deal. To this, I'm going to add around 1 tablespoon of garlic. I'm using raw garlic here, and if you're using raw garlic, then I would recommend that you grate it fine like this so that it is ground evenly with the chickpeas. Add 2 teaspoons of salt and 3 teaspoons of freshly ground cumin seeds. Finally, add 4 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So every ingredient that you use here, the fresher it is, the better your hummus will taste. When you're blending the hummus, you may have to add some water. If you have some water remaining from the cooked chickpeas, then use that water, or you can even add some ice cubes, but try to keep the hummus thick. So the amount of blending that you will have to do will depend on the texture that you like. You may like coarse hummus, or you may like super smooth hummus, like silky smooth. So it really depends on you. But what's important here is to remember not to add a lot of water, assuming that it will help in blending. I like to keep hummus on a thicker and denser side. When the hummus becomes too thin, then a lot of flavor is also lost. You can adjust the amount of salt, garlic, lemon juice and cumin seeds powder as per your taste. But wait, did I miss something? Wasn't I supposed to add olive oil? Well, I prefer to add olive oil at the end, at the time of serving hummus, and I'm going to show you some simple ways in which you can enjoy your creation. But before that, the cumin powder that I have used here is the roasted cumin powder, and that you can make right at home. You will not get them at the stores. So take a skillet and warm it on medium heat and toast about 2 tablespoons of cumin seeds while stirring it continuously. As soon as the cumin seeds become fragrant, stop and transfer the seeds into a mortar and pestle or into a small spice grinder. Don't wait for the cumin seeds to start crackling vigorously, or even when it starts to smoke a lot. You don't want to do exorcism with spices. The one who will be leaving the house will be you. Now, in a mortar and pestle, pound it or grind it. That really depends on the type of mortar and pestle that you have, and do it until you get a fine powder. You can see the color, it is much darker, and the aroma is also much stronger. You will feel it immediately. So you can always do this whenever you want to use cumin seeds as a seasoning spice, and this single spice alone can do wonders. If you wish to learn more about how you can make your own seasoning spices, not just roasted cumin seeds, then join my online spice course on our website. You get to learn a lot, and we get the much needed support from you. Now, before you eat hummus, show it some love. Take a generous amount of it on a plate and spread it roughly. If you have saved some cooked chickpeas like I did before, then add some at the center, and it really makes it look nice. And it's always a great idea to add a touch of some spices as garnish. Add some sumac. This spice has a lovely tangy taste and totally complements the taste of hummus. Throw in some roasted cumin powder on the edges and add a generous amount of good quality olive oil, as much as you like. Add a touch of green with some fresh herbs like parsley, and your hummus is ready to be served. Now, another simpler way is to plate the hummus the way I had shown, on the plate with some dent on the center, and then garnish it with some olive oil. And for some fruity freshness, you can add some pomegranate arils along with some herbs. Make it look nice and play with the flavors and colors as you like, as you enjoy. You can even throw in some paprika if you like it hot. And you can enjoy this hummus, this nice good looking hummus, with a nice loaf of sourdough bread or flatbreads like these. Next time you're making your falafel wraps or sandwiches, then hummus is something that you must not miss. And if things look too complicated, you do not have time for making any other thing, then all you have to do is just put your hummus on a slice of bread and enjoy it the way it is. It's a highly nutritious plant-based protein that doubles up as a healthy source of fat from tahini, which is one of the ingredients. And it's rich in minerals like iron, magnesium, and calcium, something that we all need as we get older, or even when you're growing up. Also, if you're fighting poor eating habits, mindless snacking, or late night visits to the refrigerator, having sliced cucumber and carrots ready along with hummus will help you stay away from zero nutrition or sugary snacks. So let me know when you make it if you have removed the skin and if you felt that it had made a difference, not just in taste and texture, but in also how it made you feel afterwards. You know what I mean. And I will see you soon in the next video.